I just wanted to give my impressions on the newly announced HP Reverb G2 headset. If you're unaware, this is the newest lineup in the Windows Mixed Reality headsets, and it is a new HP Reverb headset made in partner with Valve. And what's interesting about this one is it's a Windows Mixed Reality headset, but it uses 4 cameras for tracking, 2 in the front, 2 in the side, and the controllers have been redesigned. And if you don't know what the original HP Reverb was, it was a Windows Mixed Reality headset, but the resolution on the panels was really high. It was way higher than the Index and gave a sense of clarity that was unrivaled in the consumer headset market. The newly redesigned G2 Reverb was made in partner with Valve, where Valve and HP worked together to redo the audio solution, the lenses, and a lot of the design. The audio is straight off of the Valve Index, and overall, it just looks really good. And the really nice thing is it's priced at $600, which is the same price as the Vive Cosmos was. The interesting thing is the Vive Cosmos was a complete failure. The tracking was so bad that it was unplayable in some games. And this isn't because of the camera tracking range. The actual software and hardware that tracks the controllers just was broken, and it's even today doesn't track as good as the original Windows Mixed Reality with only 2 cameras. So overall, I think the HP Reverb G2 is a very good headset at a good price. You get a sense of clarity and resolution that's unrivaled in the consumer market for a mid-range price. Although I do have a couple things I would like to say about it that a lot of people aren't really touching on. Now, the headset is going to be shipped with 2 new Windows Mixed Reality controllers. They are the same software and hardware as the normal Windows Mixed Reality controllers, but the difference is the shape and ergonomics copy a lot from the original Oculus Touch controllers, as well as the button placement. This is leading a lot of people to praise the controllers for being a new refresh on the Windows Mixed Reality, and they're a perfect upgrade. Now, if you don't know me, I've been with virtual reality for quite a few years now. Since the original Oculus Development Kit 2, I've been using VR. I've been using the Oculus systems, Windows Mixed Reality. I've used the Vive systems a lot. While these controllers are a nice redesign ergonomically, the truth is these new controllers are losing a lot of features of the original Windows Mixed Reality controllers. The original controllers had 2 thumbsticks and 2 trackpads, and then 2 triggers and 2 grip buttons. The new ones have just 2 thumbsticks, the triggers and grips, and then 2 A and B buttons on the top. These look like the Oculus Touch controllers, but they don't have the functionality of an Oculus Touch controller. HP claims that they're redesigning them this way so that they have a standard across the VR lineup, and it's functional with Oculus games and stuff. The problem is Oculus games and even Index makes very good use of capacitive touch sensors. So the controllers know if your fingers are pushing the buttons, if they're just kind of resting on the buttons, or if you actually take your fingers off the buttons and open your hand. This allows controllers like Oculus Touch to have 3 inputs for each button. The new HP Reverb controllers don't have this feature. They are just normal buttons. So they can only tell if your fingers are off the buttons or just completely on them. They don't have that touch capability. So, for example, with Oculus Touch, if you want to point your finger, you actually you close your hand and you point your finger, or you give a thumbs up in real life. This wouldn't work on these HP Reverb controllers because they don't have that touch capability. The way a normal Windows Mixed Reality controller works is it copies the Vive controller mappings perfectly. So it used the touchpad for that, and for example in VRChat, when you want to do a gesture on a Vive or Windows Mixed Reality, you would select the gesture with a certain position on that trackpad. But with the new controllers, you don't have that trackpad, and you've lost a lot of your capability. What I mean by you lose your capability is first of all, the original controllers were a good middle ground between the Oculus and the Vive, and because of the way they had both setups pretty much, they were perfect. They could be integrated into both systems without much work needed to be done for mapping. As well, you've lost a lot of input ability. With the original controller having the trackpad, which could sense 360 degrees and clicked in all different axes, the new controllers just have 2 buttons that replace that, and that I'm not saying it won't work, but their claim of this is to give a standard across everything they're not going to be compatible with everything else. They're going to have to be remapped like every other controller, and it's not really a benefit in that way, in my opinion. Another thing I want to say is I have extended use with inside-out tracked headsets, and while the new Reverb has a very wide field of view as far as its tracking ability, same as like the Rift S, the Windows Mixed Reality tracking algorithm is not as advanced as the Oculus Insight tracking algorithm. So what I mean is, say both these different systems have the same range of where they can track. The HP Reverb with its new controllers and completely new redesign still will have a slight input delay compared to the Oculus controllers due to how the Windows Mixed Reality algorithm tracks. So this means that while I think the HP Reverb G2 is a perfect headset for sim racers or people who want to like come in VR chat or different games like this, if your budget does not allow you to have Steam VR tracking like the Index or Vive, and you want to play competitive games, say Beat Saber or Pavlov or something that's like really requires good tracking, the cheaper Oculus Rift S will still pull ahead in those places. This is something to really think about when choosing a headset. What do you want to play? How do you want to play it? And what's your budget? The Reverb G2 is more expensive than the Rift S and Quest, and in almost every way is an upgrade over the Oculus systems. But if you want the best tracking you can for the dollar without going with the Lighthouse track systems and paying $1,000 for an Index, the Reverb won't be the one for you. I just want to say that because everyone's praising it, but from my experience using all these systems, I just wanted to point out where I see there would be some issues and something to keep in mind before going straight ahead and buying them. But overall, it looks like a great headset at a good price, and Vive Cosmos is dead.